Hello Fredlings, this is Claude from Chicago and we are back with another Planet Coaster time-lapse video. If you guys are new to the channel, everything is linked in the description as well as our socials and our Discord. But today we are going to be building a dump truck, a excavator, and a jackhammer vehicle. We are going to use a majority of art pieces and now we have all the DLCs, so we're going to be using a variety of pieces. So I'm not entirely sure when we put this on the workshop I'm just going to put all the DLCs probably. But if you want to download them, they're all in the description as well. So we're going to be starting off with the dump truck, and with our theme for the Fred's Movie Studios, we need building trucks. We want to take this park to the next level of detail and show the progression of stuff being built. And I think this would help people understand what is going where, because with the last park we did, Fred's Wonder World, it was kind of hard to explain, especially for me. I mean, I didn't really know where everything was gonna go. So now that we are doing we're gonna do it, the progress of how it's getting built. If you've ever seen any pictures of Disney being built, you will see dump trucks, excavators, and jackhammers moving dirt across the place. You would see these scaffolding foundations as well as the frames before the buildings were put there. So I think this level of detail will definitely help our park, just in that case, as well as help me remember what I want to put everywhere else. So right now, right now we took a garbage truck from the Studios DLC, flipped it upside down, and put it there. I really try to use the pieces that are already in the game that are very highly detailed. This really helps. I mean, for your builds as well, guys. It really helps because it already has so much detail on it, and if you just cover it up a couple ways, flip it upside down or anything, it really makes a difference. That's what I try to explain all the time during my streams. Just try something new, because you may think something is supposed to be one way, but you could always flip it. In this game, the possibilities are endless, and I think that's just the creativity of Planet Coaster. Now, I love just creative games, but it's so hard to be creative all the time, so that's why I didn't really release any Planet Coaster videos after Fred's Wonder World ended. So now we're going to try to pick that back up, that pace here, with stuff that we need. So this dump truck will be working in that lake you see behind you there. We're going to unflood it later. And in Disney, they built the Magic Kingdom 3 stories tall, and you don't realize this until you are there. I mean, even when you're there, you don't realize it. But they took the dirt from the lagoon and they made it the Magic Kingdom Foundation. I think that just a little bit of detail is so awesome, because they needed a bunch of dirt, and instead of buying it from somewhere else, they just made a lake and just put it there. I mean, the use of it is unbelievable, and being there, you go up so gradually, you really don't notice it. I mean, I never noticed it, and I've only been at Disney as a kid, and when I'm building these parks, don't expect a grown adult building these. This is as a kid's perspective, even though I am an adult, and I have seen a bunch of videos of how these parks were made and all these sort of things. You got to remember that I only saw this as a kid, so I'm pulling from that memory and videos that I've seen online. So right now we are building the cab for the dump truck, and I'm using art pieces because all the glass pieces did not seem to be good, and even the doors didn't look too good. So just using some art pieces here. Art pieces really let you get that small little bit of detail, which is kind of lacking in Planet Coaster. I don't think they're going to ever change that. Planet Zoo is a little bit easier with the small detail. Also, we live stream this game every Friday and Saturday, and if you'd like and subscribe, you can see all these other cool videos we do on this channel as well. We do a variety of games, a lot of creative games, and now we're playing a little bit more action games just to get us off of that creative spike. Like I was saying, it's always hard to be creative in this game. Like I said a little bit earlier, it's so hard. I mean, as big YouTubers, you need to take a break. You need to take a break from everything just so you can put quality content, or make quality content, build quality content, and make sure your parks are looking very beautiful. So, right here, I'm just trying to figure out how to cover up the upside-down garbage truck. So I decide to use art pieces here to kind of give out a rough foundation. And here, I'm making a little top. Technically, I mean, I didn't completely forget that there needed to be a bed in the dump truck. But we're just trying to fill in this area here. Now, I couldn't really find any good, like, dump or back pieces for this, so I decided to make my own with the art shapes once again. Arts shapes are just such a commodity that everyone needs to utilize, especially in this game, just to fill in those things. Even though these things are perfectly flush with each other, you can still kind of see the outlines. But when you move the building by copying and pasting it, you're not going to see any of those little things. Like over here, look at that. We moved it, and now it's perfectly flush, even though nothing really changed. But yeah, usually that's what happens. It is what it is. And here, I'm just trying to figure out what we could do for the top. And we're going to leave it like this, and this dump truck is beautiful. I mean, I didn't put any lights on it. I just used the existing lights on the truck. That's the best part. Oh, right here, I'm going to find that little bed piece, the extension for these little trucks, and I put that there to fill it in, just because you didn't want to have the garbage disposal right there. So that does look very realistic. And then we're going to unflood this lagoon, place that in there, copy and paste it a couple times around, like it's picking up rocks, bringing it to the build location, which in our storyline here, these trucks will be bringing all this dirt to where our drop tower is, which is going to be a Tower of Terror inspired, but it's not going to be that show. It's going to be something different. I haven't thought of it yet. So now we are going to be building the excavator. And once again, here's me trying to utilize stuff that's in the game. I've seen all these things on the workshop with people using custom treads, which I do go into, but it's kind of upsetting that this tank couldn't work because obviously realistically it wouldn't drive like that because there was that big metal piece at the bottom. So we had to take that out and we had to do a custom one. So I do use art shapes like everyone else. I find these gears I think are in the game just regularly. I think they're from the Western pack. And I'm looking forever to try to find anything that would make a sort of tread, but we do decide and end up going with rectangles and square shapes for the treading on this excavator. Just because there wasn't anything that looked good to my eyes. I try to use that snow. The only problem is not all the pieces in this game are recolorable. So we couldn't use the snow. I think the snow would have probably actually looked quite nice on this if we colored it black or gray. Here we go, copy and paste it on the other side. And now we're trying to find a cab piece. This cab wasn't really... it was the same size as I wanted to, but I didn't really want to use just a big yellow square. It does turn out quite well, I do think. And then I make a little square on the back here. This is going to be where it houses the battery and the engine and that sort of thing. Just so, if you need to get to the back and do some repairs and stuff like that. Obviously, the engine's not as huge as a dump truck, but it's still quite large because you do need a lot of torque and electric power to raise it. So that's that. We are using these little window art pieces, just colored like it would be a reflection of the sky. Just because the glass pieces are very good because they actually can be seen through, but there is no glass pieces in this game that I have found, at least, that actually show like a reflection off of it. There are some buildings, and I have used some of those in my parks before. Just haven't really done that too much. Okay, and right here we're trying to make the little excavator arm. And I originally start using this little snake piece here, this golden snake from the adventure pack, pretty sure. And I'm not really liking it too much. It does look pretty decent. It's just too gold and too metallic. Even when I rechange the color to anything else, it does just look like a straight piece of, it's supposed to look like metal, but it just looked too much. So I decided to take that out. And we use these little ovals. It looks like it's ovals. And I try to do with the bigger ones, but it didn't look too well. So we're just going to go with the smaller pieces. When in doubt, always use small pieces. The art shape's just beautiful. Just beautiful. So we're just going to put this here, bring this down, and I'm going to make the little hand, or the bucket is what I will call it. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. We originally go with art shapes once again, but I do something a little bit different here in a second. This bucket is quite big, but I think it still turns out, it turns out quite well. These little things here, once again, they look pretty toyish when on the lower level, but when you zoom out, which most of the time Planet Coaster is zoomed out from the area, especially for like these little things. You won't see any of these. We'll have them parked in the back when the area is finished doing, or like finished, and that will work. So I'm trying to find another piece here, and I decide to use, I think, the Monsters DLC. And I find this gold coffin. I think it is supposed to be a car, pretty sure. But that gold coffin is pretty close to the yellow that I'm using. And it really matches, and it does give a bucket effect. I don't know if it really does, but if you don't look in there, it does. So the last couple things that we do here on this excavator is use these wiring pieces. So these wiring pieces are actually on the top of the machine, but in this case we do it on the inside just to give it some sort of a detail, a little bit of a difference than just the plain arc shapes. And right now I'm trying to find the air cooler, or the air con, but that is in building right at the top, and just was looking forever for it. And I was trying to use these little ladders. The problem with Planet Coaster, as everyone will say, it's very hard to find small pieces, and that's for a fact. I don't know why it is, because a lot of this scaling in this game is small, especially for the people and everything else. It's quite strange. I mean, if they ever redid Planet Coaster in years to come, I'm pretty sure they would listen and put in a little bit smaller shapes. But this game is pretty old at this point. It's 2015, I think it came out 2015, 2016. It's not probably going to happen, but with they released something where you could actually make your own pieces. I haven't done too much of that. Now here, I was playing the stream yesterday on Sunday, and I actually was thinking about making this little jackhammer here thing, and I didn't even realize that none of these buildings had lights, and it wasn't that much of a change of the buildings. I think in real life you could just switch out the bucket arm to this. So that's why it is the same. So I put some lights on here, and I take the lights and put it on the excavator. Just taking them all, merging them, breaking them from a scene, re-merging them. Pretty simple, not too much. So I hope you friendlings really did enjoy this video here. Here are some glamour shots from today. These glamour shots are not all going to look the same because I recorded a couple earlier and I didn't want to re-record them. So I will see you friendlings on the next Planet Coaster video or stream here to come, because we do Planet Coaster twice a week on this channel, which is very exciting. And let me know what you like to see in the next video. So just comment down below and let me know. Have a great rest of your day, friendlings. This is Claude from Chicago signing up from Fred's Movie Studios.